Good evening from London, wrestling fans. I'm your host, Ben Allison, and you are listening to Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast. Your one-stop shop for professional wrestling, insight, news, and reviews on a daily basis. And today, it's Sunday. Not Sunday, it's Saturday. I mean, my days mixed up again. And you know what that means. It means it's time for the SmackDown review. It's going to be a fun one, that is absolutely for sure. We've already got a few comments in, including this really nice one from Vanilla Gorilla 710, who's saying, been looking forward to the show. You guys are the best. Thank you so much, Vanilla Gorilla. We hope you guys are all having a fantastic day today. But joining me to talk about last night's episode of Friday Night SmackDown, we have the head of opinions, Anthony Ricciardi. Anthony, how are you today?
I'm doing all right on this Saturday, Ben. So, it was an interesting SmackDown last night, obviously highlighted by the return of The Rock in his best form. And, I had so much fun last week with our topic that got us 151,000 views, which anyone who watched it, thank you. And let's try to do that again.
Absolutely. The 100K club. 2 reels for 100K plus in 1 week at Wrestling Republic. Truly, truly great stuff. But, of course, on last night's SmackDown, Hollywood Rock returned. He went full heel, but he's not the only Hollywood gimmick that's returned. Hollywood Soul's back. How are you today, Hollywood Soul?
Well, Mr. Allison, I must say it is very fine to return here to the Wrestling Republic Daily. I know my suited version has returned in himself. I, of course, was fired to the Highlands in Glen Cole, so I've finally made my return because you needed a third for your show today. So I very much appreciate allowing me back while my main self is down there washing his tie that hasn't seen washing for like 2 weeks. My boy, you really need to get that done. You getting that done there, Silly Boy? I hope so. But hey, we've got Mr. Rocky Johnson himself back on the SmackDown, so let's get into it, shall we?
Oh, gosh, you guys can tell. This show is going to be chaotic, but of course, Anthony, the big topic right now is The Rock. But that's not what I'm going to ask you about first, because first, I've got a question for you, Anthony, and that question is, do you know it or do you not? The Rock edition. You have 45 seconds starting now. When did he make his in-ring debut for WWE?
The Survivor Series in 96.
Correct. How many WWE championships has he won?
I'm going to say 5.
8. In what year did he win the Royal Rumble?
2000.
Correct. Who did The Rock show up to WrestleMania 31 with?
Oh, I don't remember.
Ronda Rousey. How many times did he main event WrestleMania?
4, I believe. No.
5.
No. Yeah.
Who defeated The Rock in his last singles match before leaving to Hollywood?
Don't remember.
Goldberg. Who was the veteran who got The Rock a WWE tryout? Time is up, unfortunately. Pat Patterson.
I was going to
that was.
Yeah.
But I think you got 3 right, so that's solid. Not as bad as Clark's 2 from yesterday. How on earth does Soul still have the record in this quiz? How does he have 9 in 45 seconds?
I don't know. By the way, when did Hollywood Soul become Foghorn Leghorn? I don't remember the southern accent.
That is a very good point. He's just sitting there enjoying life.
Very much so, Jason. Very much so.
We got Jason in the comments. Happy Saturday, Jason. What a SmackDown last night. Indeed. And let's just jump straight into things. Let's dive headfirst into the pool, which was SmackDown. And let's kick things off by talking about the main talking point from last night. And of course, that was The Rock's promo. The Bloodline, Roman Reigns, Jimmy Uso, Solo Sikoa, Paul Heyman came out and they introduced The Rock, who came down to the ring, grabbed the mic, and he went full Hollywood Rock on everybody. He was insulting the crowd. Nobody could quite believe it. And they went from booing him when he came down to the ring, when they thought he was a face, to cheering him the second he turned heel. He then had to go at them and call them out for cheering him. Then they were split. Half of them were booing, half of them were cheering. But I'll tell you what they were all doing. They were all reacting. He had every person in that arena in the palm of his hand. And this promo, it was great. Now, I've seen the complaints on social media. I've been scrolling through these, X, Twitter, Instagram, all these platforms. I've been scrolling through all the feeds, right? And everybody has been complaining. Not everybody, but a lot of people have been complaining about this. And I don't get it for a second. I think for some reason people expected The Rock to be able to tell, the entire story in this. In fact, I've seen some posts hating on Cody Rhodes for not being there. He's not on the SmackDown brand. Why would he be there unless it's previously announced? Or he breaks into the venue or something. We're weeks away from Mania. That doesn't need to happen yet. I thought this promo was great. It did its job, it advanced the story, and it was captivating. It was entertaining. What more can you ask for? This was a great start to what I think is going to be a phenomenal story. I will say this. We saw that finger point towards Roman Reigns. And I think we all know The Rock is coming for Roman Reigns. But a lot of people are saying, well, I think The Rock's going to, turn at WrestleMania and help Cody win. I really, really, really hope that's the case. I do. I think that's what they should do. But I don't think that's what they will do. I think Cody's losing and they're going to do Rock Reigns next year. I really do. And I really hope they don't. Anthony, break this one down for me.
Yeah, the Rock version that we saw last night, for me, for somebody that's been watching The Rock the entire run, in a lot of ways it was like a band that wasn't playing their classics for years and then decided to come back on tour to start playing them again. That's what it reminded me of. That's The Rock that from 25 years ago, when I was gearing up to go to WrestleMania 15, that was The Rock. That was the version of The Rock. And I love that. Him burying the crowd, conscience of the crowd being, portion of the crowd being Mormons, making fun of them having 50 wives and 800 kids and all this inbreds and all this stuff that The Rock is notorious for. My favorite personally is always when he's ready to do his catchphrase and he goes, no, sing along with The Rock ain't happening no more. You lost that. That's classic 1999 Rock. Even the shirt was a mix between that version of The Rock with the $500 shirt and the Hollywood one with the vest. It was a mix.
Yeah.
At the shades. There were points during the promo where I'm like, I thought it went a little. I wasn't too crazy about it because making the comparison of going, hey, Cody, you lost. You don't get to just pick, demand a rematch. He won the Rumble. But then I remembered The Rock's delusional. When he's a heel, he's delusional. Facts don't matter. But in the moment when I'm hearing him going, but he won the Rumble. That's exactly what he's supposed to be. But heel Rock doesn't recognize that. And I had to remind myself of that. So I think if people complained, that might have been a part of it, is that, it doesn't make sense. I did notice the point, where he's saying, I'm going to make sure you lose at Mania and pointed at him. The other thing was at the end, him doing the L. Now I'm sure they'll explain it away, storyline wise, going, he meant Cody's going to lose, but a lot of people, why they think The Rock may turn on him. I wouldn't be surprised at this point if you're going full turning back the tide and going 99 Rock here. I could see Austin coming out at some point. Just again, there's ties to Philly with Mania. He main evented with a Rock here 25 years ago. It would be kind of a full circle thing. If The Rock's not in the match and they really are truly doing Cody Roman, that's just the match. I could see Absolutely. Austin coming in fighting The Rock off. And the explanation being from Cody that, Austin wanted to help me because of Dusty. Like, there's so many people tied to Dusty. You can make this work and their history, because we don't really know. We don't know if The Rock's coming back for one match, if he's coming back for multiple matches. The way he looks right now and the way he's acting, it sounds like he may be here for at least a little while anyway, or at least make a couple of appearances. This doesn't feel like when he came in for Cena and it was the one match and, kind of disappeared. Like, this sort of, with him being on the board and him not focusing too much on the action movies, like he said, I think he wants to just do serious roles. I don't know how many serious roles he's getting offered these days, but so he may be around for a while. Which I'm not saying he's going to be in a long run, but is there a possibility we may see an Austin Rock one more time? Who knows? Listen, I'm okay with that if they do Street Fight. I wouldn't mind seeing Austin Rock one more time.
That can.
I mean, listen, I'm not expecting Austin to wrestle an Iron Man match. Same thing with Rock. I'm expecting something that would be within a structure. So, we know what kind of money they're throwing around the Saudi shows. They're trying to go big with a lot of these shows. Could it happen again? Who knows? I mean, technically, as far as WrestleMania records, Austin beat Rock twice. Rock only beat him once. So I don't know if they want to even the score, this and that, but they're forever rivals. They are the defining two characters of the Attitude Era were Rock and Austin. Greatest feud from that era, in that ring. So it's exciting. I don't know if Rock's going to turn on Roman, but I'm all for this. And they're not going to give everything away the first night, like you said. Again, you still have the Chamber yet. The Chamber has to happen next weekend. So you're not going to go full Mania hype and give everything away. Like, one of the things I want to know about, I want to know why Cody was originally willing to give up that spot. I think last night we found out for certain, at least from my perspective, I think this was a pivot. I no longer think this was from 39 just based on how it was structured last night. I do think it was a pivot. Just the way they carried it. So I want to know that. I want to know what The Rock whispered to him. Now, they're probably not going to tell you what he really whispered to him, but for a storyline wise, what he said to him, that could play a role, and I think it's going to play a role when Cody eventually confronts them on SmackDown, when we're actually Mania is the next stop. That's when I think it's going to happen.
Yeah. No, I do agree with you that I think this is probably going to go, I think this might be, at least a year-long story in terms of, The Rock being there. Obviously, I don't think The Rock's going to be there for a year, but, he'll come in for a little bit, then go for a while. I know he's not only starring, but I think producing a movie with John Cena with his production studio in the very near future. So I presume he'll be gone for quite a few months doing that, because he's not just acting, he's producing too. I haven't heard about that in a while, but I swear I heard recently, and I might need to fact check myself on that is still going ahead.
A lot of that stuff could have been delayed because of the writer strike. So,
that
might have been a part of it. I mean, honestly, I think after Mania, we might not see Rock again till maybe SummerSlam, maybe. That might be the next go around, would be my guess. I don't. How quickly is the next pay-per-view after Mania? Is it within the same month like they did the last time?
In France in May, I believe.
There's a possibility he could. There's a possibility he could appear on that. Maybe.
Yeah, perhaps so. We've got a comment here from Jason saying he loved the vest and he's sure for heel Rock, but did he call Roman a loser? Ooh, we're going to keep speculating on this, and it's going to get interesting and even more interesting. But Soul, what did you find interesting about this segment?
Well, I got to agree with Mr. Ricciardi's point there. Absolutely. Johnson is an amazing performance actor. I mean, I must say, their role could get an Oscar in the future. I mean, you all agree with me, right? That, Dakota Johnson's performance in Madam Web was an absolute stellar performance, and I believe she should get... Oh, we talk about the other Johnson. Oh, right. Yeah, that Johnson. Fair enough. Right. Yeah, that Johnson was fine. I mean, it did look like they came out guttering in a gator and wearing a crossbar vest. I mean, that vest, God, is last fashionable accessory there. But fair enough. Mr. Johnson was a great a great promo in himself. I had no problem with it. My only consideration and problem is, where do we go from here? Because it's probably that Rock ain't going to face Roman at Mania. That's definitely off the table. It's Cody and Roman. Cody's going to finish his story, which is the best way to go. So here's something that I want to propose here is the L. The L that Mr. Ricciardi mentioned the Rock post. Now, some have said he's a member of the Bang Bang Scissor Gang from AEW. That is incorrect right there, and that is unfactual.
Thankfully, the worst segment in the world right now.
Oh, absolutely, Mr. Allison. I agree with you there. That is a terrible, terrible faction indeed. But I think The Rock is going to cost Roman Reigns his title at Mania, seeming him as unworthy of leading the Bloodline. I think they're going to include the family tree as a whole segment and partial of this story. Mr. Johnson's going to look at Mr. Reigns and think, you are a part of my bloodline, but you're a stain on it. You are not worthy of being a part of it. And he's going to take him down and let Cody get his little victory lap. And at SummerSlam, he's going to take on Mr. Rhodes to make sure that title comes back to the right member of his bloodline. Then we can get a nice, lovely feud, Mr. Reigns and Mr. Johnson, because they will fight over the real main man of this bloodline.
Well, I'm going to be honest, Hollywood Soul, I only could understand but half of that. But I do agree with you in regards to the Bang Bang Scissor Gang being an awful faction, but also that there's a lot of ways they could go in this story, including, the big family tree. There's a lot of things they can play off. There's a lot of routes they can go down. We've got a couple of comments here. We got David Marge saying the Bloodline and Judgment Day might clash if Damian Priest decides to cash in. Imagine Dominic Mysterio versus The Rock. That would be something.
That would definitely be a house show match. I would not want to see that on any premium live events or anything that would be broadcasted to the homes of the WWE Universe. That would be a mistake.
We're going to need to get Hollywood Soul, Ignacio, and Carty Carnett on a show together, aren't we?
You're really going to run the circus, Mr. Chief. You're really going to run the circus on this daily.
Listen. The only way that's going to work is you have to cut the table budget and have Cardi and Soul on there with just subtitles. I think that's your next move, is a subtitle episode with them who could do the worst Southern accent.
Well, I will.
This is pretty much pristine right here. This is something you could see down in the great state of, I don't know my U.S. states well. I'm just going to say one on the top of my head, Georgia. Is that Southern? Georgia Southern?
It is in the South, yes.
See, I was correct. I know my stuff.
The Scottish came back. We do have, talking about Take It to the Table, we got some exciting Take It to the Table news in the next few weeks, let's just say. There. But before we get into that, I want to get into the next segment. I want to get into talking about the Elimination Chamber qualifiers, because last night, me and Clark, we sat here, and me and Chaos, we all sat here and we said that these matches are predictable. And I said, maybe, just maybe, there'll be a twist. Maybe they'll throw us off. Maybe Logan Paul will cost Kevin Owens and Kevin Owens will cost Logan Paul. No, it was very much all just predictable. But Owens versus Dominic Mysterio was a great way to open the show. The crowd were on fire for this match. They really, really were. It was electric. So well done to Dominic Mysterio, firstly, because he is the heel magnet. He is the guy who everybody loves to boo. And to have that skill, well, that is a skill for sure. Kevin Owens getting a reaction, no surprise whatsoever. And of course, throwing R-Truth in there to add a little bit of fun to the equation. That certainly did not do it any harm in terms of the reaction itself. In the ring, Dominic Mysterio's improved so much lately as well. But now on to the other Elimination Chamber qualifying match. And this was Logan Paul versus The Miz. Two old rivals renewing their feud. And Logan Paul looked a bit off in this match, I thought. I'm not sure if he suffered a slight knee injury early on, but it seemed to improve as the match went on. So maybe he tweaked something and then it ended up being fine. I don't know. But just something looked a bit off with him in this match. I thought, but it did its job. Logan Paul's going to the chamber, and it's a stacked chamber. It is, but these two matches were quite predictable. What were your thoughts, Anthony?
I mean, yeah, they absolutely were predictable, but I thought, Kevin Owens knows how to make somebody or get somebody in a better place, even when he beats them. And I feel in a lot of ways, Dominic has benefited from these feuds. Him as a heel is certainly much better than he was as a babyface. He's fully embraced this heel side, and it works. He's got an organic heat that, honestly, I don't know if I've seen anybody else have. It's a weird thing, and it fascinates me whether or not WWE is piping stuff in, or if that's real, because there have been moments
where that was real, because I saw videos of it as well.
Because when he gets that heat, like, I don't remember, even back in the day, as hated as Vince McMahon was, or heel Rock. I don't remember them generating that type of heat. Like, that core reaction makes me wonder. And I'm fascinated, and I want to be in an arena to really experience that, to see whether or not it's, legit, and it's great. I love the heel heat that he's getting. Kevin Owens was the right move. Logan Paul going over. It didn't overly shock me, mainly because we know personally Miz and Maurice are dealing with some stuff. So it doesn't surprise me if Miz is not going to be on TV for a while. I was surprised he was even on TV last night, to be perfectly honest. Under the circumstances, but Logan Paul obviously has history with Kevin Owens, so that chamber match is stacked, and the Elimination Chamber doesn't feel like just a speed bump on the road to WrestleMania, because they've done those in the past where it's like, okay, it's the in between show, it doesn't really matter, but this feels like, okay, this is a good show. This is a nice appetizer before we get to the main show. Granted, and I told you, because when it's airing, I will not be watching it live, so nobody will be seeing me here next week. I'm sorry. Listen, I'm used to getting up at 5 a.m. for work. I can't really do that on the weekend too. For the show, I will avoid all spoilers, because when I get up in the morning, I'm going full Amish with not touching my phone till after I watch the show. So hopefully no emergencies happen in between them, because I will not be looking at the phone. But so when you guys are doing the daily, I'll probably be starting watching the show. So I'm looking forward to it. So like I said, it should be a really good show. I do think, I know it probably won't be on the I might be on the preview show. Who knows? But if I'm not, I think Drew's going to ultimately win that chamber, is my guess. I'm assuming it's Drew.
Absolutely. No, I do agree with you there completely. Yeah. I mean, you mentioned as well. I completely forgot the point. That's never happened on a show before. I don't know what happened there.
Maybe I'll remember tomorrow when it's Sunday. Because you think it's Sunday.
Maybe I will. I'm day ahead, see, guys. Like, I'm always ahead. I'm a day ahead, 24 hours ahead. That's the way this is going. That's weird. That's not happened before. But we got Jason saying Dominic is so over. One of the best. He's reminded me the point. You got me and Chaos to thank for the Dominic Mysterio reaction, because it all started in the O2 Arena in London when Dominic Mysterio came out, and we just synchronized, just absolutely booed, like, him out of the building, and it was just deafening.
Do you remember, though, prior to that, because you sent me a message, I had written a piece saying that he should turn heel almost like an Eddie Guerrero style.
Oh, yeah, he did, yeah.
And he kind of did. He kind of became Eddie without actually being Eddie.
He did. He got the Three Amigos, all those things in there. But Soul, I want to.
And his mama.
Sorry, carry on,
as well. And his mama.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well. Yes.
But Soul, I now want to get your thoughts on two men who came in. They squashed a couple of NXT guys last night, Morris and Burnell. I think they're their names. I don't know if the NXT off the air guys, Clark, Shard, and Drizzy, know about these guys. I didn't. But AOP squashed them. The authors of pain are back. And a little statistic I want to point out is these guys are 29/30. right now. And this is their second run in the company. They are young. They have at least another 15 years in them. And listen, I honestly think that these guys have potential. I always have done. I thought they were misused in their first run with the company. But they're back now. They're back on WWE television. And I'm excited for this. But are you excited, Sol?
Mr. Allison, I would agree with you there. AOP are a very dominant tag team. They have been in their first run in NXT. Main roster time wasn't so delightful for them boys. But they are back now and doing something great, I must say. But it makes me feel like there's a stench in the air. Something's up. Something ain't feeling right. There's a bit of a musk in the area. And I think that's because they're part of this Final Testament faction. It's dead on arrival. Because you're put with Mr. Karrion Kross, who looked like a gladiator from 2003 with Mr. Russell Crowe, it's not a very good comparison to have. These guys used to come out with amazing masks that looked deadly, when masks were a good thing instead of a bad thing that made you remember a bad time in the 2020s. Ugh. But I think that these teams should go on a run with themselves. Because Mr. Paul Ellering himself was a great manager back in the day for the Road Warriors. Truly great tag teams in themselves. So why are they stuck with a gladiator reject like Mr. Cross himself? Now, look, don't get me wrong. I like Mr. Cross and his time in Lucha Underground, but I feel like there is a stench with the boy. Anything you put him with, any team, any faction, any game, any appearance, heck, even the trading cards I bet he signs are just, good God, they are bad indeed. So I do agree with you there. AOP, very young individuals who could be like the Ascension were in their run in NXT, dominant indeed. You have these guys going fused with DIY, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. You could have them run your tag team division, unlike AEW's muscle jungle that is going on right now. So have AOP get a dominant run, and I would have these boys, these two fine boys, introduce the new tag team title designs. Don't have it be some other schmucks. Have it be these boys. Because then when you think of these new titles, you go back to them. And you know they introduced a new era of tag team wrestling within the entertainment brand.
I mean,
can we get Muscle Jungle trademarked? I think Muscle Jungle, I think we need to trademark that.
I think this is mid-South wrestling, so not Hollywood, so.
I feel like during his exodus, he spent time in the South. I'm assuming that's where the 3 months went.
Look, when you stay in a Highland cabin in Glencoe, the only channels you got were Crocodile Dundee, Dog the Bounty Hunter, and most of CW. So I'm sorry if that affected me on my exodus away from the Republic. Look, I can only watch Dog the Bounty Hunter so many times before I get the rapture of the bounty hunter. I got that dog in me. Thank you, Dog the Bounty Hunter. Thank you.
Talking about the Republic, I have a bone to pick, right? Because last week I came on this podcast and I said that every single time I've defended Mr. Peter Dunne, I take back. Why do I take them back? I take it back because it's all his fault. He had main event potential and he wasted it. Why did he waste it? Because he decided to support Tottenham, right? I'm almost vomiting saying it. Absolutely disgusting human being, and he deserves to lose all these matches he's losing. He deserves to have his career wasted like was happening. Let's repackage him again as Butch. I think that was far better, and all of that good stuff. But anyway, right, I said that last week. I then tuned into Friday Night SmackDown last night, and I saw him and Mr. Tyler Bate. And they've decided to rename themselves New Catch Republic. Well, hang on, Mr. Peter Dunne. But you cannot just steal the Republic. We are the Wrestling Republic, and I think we will be seeing you in a wrestling match to settle it. I don't know who I'll choose to wrestle in my place, but it will be somebody. Maybe Christian Cage.
I'm assuming it's Clark. That would be my guess.
I don't think he's got much in-ring experience there. I'm going to get Christian Cage. He's the perfect father figure. Christian Cage will defend my honor because we are the Republic here, and Peter Dunne, just like Tottenham's trophy cabinet, so will your... I mean, I completely botched that one. So will your name will be empty too. I don't know. That didn't work. That failed. Again, just like Tottenham do, fail every week. But Anthony, what did you think about this? Are you glad they've been repackaged or?
I
What's up with
gotta
that?
I gotta ask a question. I said, do you have a voodoo doll of Pete Dunne? Because that sounds like you do. As far as the name, I hate the name. The name's ridiculous to me. I'm like, I don't know where they're going with that name. Like, who came up with it? I don't know, but it's like I don't see that catching on. Like, I just don't.
There's only one Republic name which can catch on, and we've already caught it and we've trademarked it.
Well, the only one that could probably fight either one of us is probably Star Wars. Um, but other than that, but in the wrestling confines, it's us.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about the name. Them as a team should be interesting. I am curious to see at some point if Sheamus ever comes back because he's been gone, and I don't. Do we know why he's gone?
Yeah, he's been injured. He suffered a really serious
It's
injury.
an injury.
I've completely
Okay,
forgotten
gotcha.
the injury, but he was meant to be out for like almost a year.
Oh, okay. Completely missed that. Or forgot about it, one or the other. But they have to have something to do with them. And to me, if they want to build up the tag division, that's a smart move. It's an easy, quick team. They got history. And you can always do down the road them feuding because they have history with that too over the WWE United Kingdom Championship because they were the finals and Tyler won.
Yeah, the original.
And then Dunn eventually beat him for the belt. So they have history both as a team and as opponents. So I think it's a smart move. It's something to do with them. I would have came up with a better name though, but it is still better than Big Bill.
Well, Tottenham have history, yet they're still a load of word I cannot say. Somebody's praising the Arsenal mug. David Marge, thank you very much. Yeah. Arsenal will win in the league. 5-0 today, 6-0 last week. You hear that, Peter Doon? That's called a win. Anyway, moving on. So, I want to get your thoughts on the women's Elimination Chamber matches because, of course, we firstly had Tiffany Stratton versus Zelina Vega. It's Tiffy time. Shard hasn't shut up about her for months. By the way, Shard is having his wedding ceremony tomorrow, so congratulations to him. I know he's legally married already, but the ceremony's tomorrow. Shout out to him. Well, Tiffany Stratton, as a wedding present, is going to be heading into the Elimination Chamber match as she defeated Zelina Vega. She kind of missed the moonsault again, but the commentary team really covered it up, saying about the knees. She has that it factor, Tiffany Stratton, and you can't teach that. You either have it or you don't, and she has it. That's brilliant, and I think she's got a bright, bright future. But somebody who I don't think is going to have a bright, bright future is Alba Fire, and that annoys me. It annoys me so much because she was the longest reigning NXT UK Women's Champion. She also has a great presence about her, a great, theme, a great entrance. She has star written all over her, but for whatever reason, she isn't being booked like one. She's being booked in this tag team with Alba Fire, with Isla Dawn. And I'd be okay with that if they were actually winning. But most of the time they don't. And that included last night when Alba Fire lost to Naomi. Obviously, Naomi's return, you're not going to lose there. But Naomi and Tiffany Stratton are advancing. Sol, what are your thoughts?
I must say it was a very great performance by both of these competitors here. But it's fine you mentioned they're on Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, because I feel like there's a better version of them in NXT with Laya Valkyrie and Tatum Paxson. Those two are the more character versions, I would say, than these two individuals. They don't have it anymore. Now, of course, people will have it and people won't have it. But Miss Stratton as well. I know this Shad fellow, which I've heard about from Suited all the time. He always rages about this boy, but I think he's correct there. Tiffany Stratton has it. She is it. It's Tiffy time indeed. And I think she will be a dominant. If you want to come up from NXT and make a statement in that Elimination Chamber, I think Tiffany Stratton should win it. Tiffy time in the chamber, boys. I absolutely think that. Tiffany Stratton is going to win that chamber, go to Mania, and get that title. She will be one of the best NXT call-ups. Indeed, I will say so myself. Now, as well, I also think that with NXT, there's got a lot of great women talent in there. Mentioned before, live Valkyrie and Tatum Paxson. I think they're going to come up as well and be great tag team champions. They will take those women tag team champions that have been running through the dirt. It would be the sand, even a wee bit of pesto on it, try to give some flavor and all that. Not working very well, but I think they will bring back life to that tag team division. But of course, as well, Naomi back as well, which is great to see. Not a fan of the Fiend. I kind of missed the Glow. Why did they lose the Glow? The Glow is very important. If you've seen Glow sticks, they're very good at Woodstock in 98 and 8. That was a very good time. So, hey, I'm all ready for Tiffy time.
Tiffany Stratton, Rhea Ripley, WrestleMania, please. I'd love that.
I am all for Auctioneer Soul with the Glow. That's tremendous. By the way, Soul. I love that. It's very nice.
Just facts, boys. Just facts.
Thank you.
Oh, no, I do agree though. That theme is going to be missed. It really will. I don't like this new one, but it's not the worst rebrand they've done. At least there is still some glow, but the theme was better before it was. Why change something if it's not broken? Well, because you want the rights. I don't know. I don't like it.
Maybe there's a glow stick shortage that we don't know about.
Maybe Hollywood sold. Yeah, maybe Hollywood sold bought them all.
With the
or maybe
shirts?
or maybe
that's my
suited.
My suited version. He's bad with money and bad with bets. Me, on the other hand, I have some accolades to my name, which I will not go into. I have accolades, unlike my suited self. He's a bit of a failure. I can see him now. Oh, he's coming up. Oh, he's fell. Oh no, he's done. Oh no, the mud's got him. He's gone.
The mud's got him.
My God, I better help that.
Oh gosh. Well, on that note, guys, let's move on. Because there's a guy who I want to talk about right now, and he is, in my opinion, the next face of WWE. We've had John Cena, we've had Roman Reigns, and now we're going to have Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker is officially on Friday Night SmackDown. He signed the contract last night, and he came out last night with Nick Aldis. Nick Aldis presented him, made him feel like a big deal, and announced that next week on SmackDown, he will be making his in-ring debut. Of course, making him feel like a really, really big deal there. I'm 100% excited for that. One thing I do find quite funny is they completely ignored the fact he's currently an NXT Tag Team Champion with Baron Corbin. And I've said this before, but I'll say it again. They only acknowledge NXT as canon when it helps them. When it doesn't help them, they ignore it exists, and it's really quite funny. And nonsensical too, but it's whatever. It's a developmental brand. I don't have a huge problem with them treating it like that. I hope he doesn't just vacate the NXT Tag Team Championships though. I hope he finishes a story down there, unlike Cody Rhodes, who I think is going to fall flat on his face and lose at WrestleMania. But no. So, do you think Hollywood Soul? Do you think that Braun Breaker has potential?
Do I think Mr. Breaker has potential? I don't think he just has the potential. He is potential. It is potential within his blood. Within that spear he hits and send guys' shoes into the stratosphere and they high in the rafters. I do believe Mr. Breaker will have a very standout moment in this entire year. NXT Tag Team Championships, I could see him and Mr. Corbin finishing up. Maybe they could do a turn, or maybe Breaker doesn't see much potential in defending these titles because he wants to focus on main roster stuff. Leads to a jealousy from Corbin, and that could be a feud on the main roster. But most importantly, now he's signed on the brand. Mania's coming up. What should be Mr. Breaker's Mania plans? That is the question here. I think a lot of people in their mindsets want Breaker to go for a championship. And I know you have suggested in the past that he should go for the Intercontinental Championship held by Mr. Gunther. But I know that is a Raw brand exclusive championship. SmackDown is the United States Championship. And I know some people have had discussion about a Mr. Knight going for that championship. So why not we kill two birds with one stone? Triple threat for the United States Championship. Logan Paul against Braun Breaker and LA Knight. Yeah. So we have that moment. Now let's say if we know Braun Breaker is a heel on NXT brand. If that continues on the main roster, have LA Knight win that championship, get his moment at WrestleMania. Braun Breaker's young. He will have 20 more moments over the next 20 years at Mania.
Have that be a feud across the summer. Braun Breaker versus LA Knight in a best-of-3 series. Go from a normal match first, Extreme Rule match second, then to show the guy's talents and show that he's dedicated, Hell in a Cell at Survivor Series for the United States Championship. Best of 3 with these gentlemen, and Braun Breaker will win that championship. And he will bring life back into the United States Championship. He will bring back so much life to that championship. I bet the eagle of that championship will fly itself and send into the higher skies of Mount Rushmore. My God, it will be an American dream, beauty. Sorry, Cody Rhodes.
The American dream
is here. The real American Braun Breaker is here.
Maybe he'll be the one to finish Cody's story for him instead then. But I do agree that he's got a ton of potential. And like you said, I thought that maybe putting him in the world title match against Seth could have been an option. Obviously now it's off the table. But what's not off the table is the Andre the Giant Battle Royale. And I think that's probably what he's going to win. Whether that's at WrestleMania or the SmackDown the night before, I think that's probably what he's going to win. Because I don't know how they could. I mean, there is over a month left. They could build something for him. But with the United States Championship, the Owens and Logan Paul storyline is right there. And to be honest with you, actually, so I think maybe it's possible we do get LA Knight versus Braun Breaker at Mania. But if we do, I think it'll just be a non-title match. Because I can actually see them doing Owens versus Logan Paul at Mania for the United States title. Instead, we got Bobby Petito in the comments. And we got David Marge, who's very interested by your theory there, Sol. And Jason wants to see Braun versus Gunther, as Braun is the future of the company, 100%. But Anthony, I want to get your thoughts on Braun Breaker. Is he that next guy?
Yes, absolutely. He is that next guy. He reminds me of early Goldberg when that he has that sort of mystique. And I always have to remind myself that he's Rick's son and not Scott's, because he's very Scott-like. I really thought he was going to be the guy to break Gunther's reign. That's where I thought it was going. I do think you could do something with him eventually taking the U.S. title and having a dominant reign with that. Leading to, if they're doing this, because it seems like they may be going more to that direction considering the animosity between Aldis and Pierce, if they are going to do brand versus brand at next Survivor Series, it would make sense if they're doing champion versus champion, if they're doing U.S. champion against Gunther as the IC. Because I don't know who else is going to take that belt off of Gunther at this point. I mean, if you have Ludwig do it, I think that's a disservice, because no offense to Ludwig, it's not believable that he beats him.
Yeah.
Braun would.
Braun is absolutely. Who is believable. Dragunov in NXT, who I think is getting called up soon. But
yeah, Dragunov is that guy that, he has history with him. I don't have an issue with him taking it off of him. He took the UK title off of him, so it wouldn't bother me. And I do think Gunther needs to get to that world title. Now, whether or not they have him lose it in maybe a triple threat so that he's not pinned to protect him, they could do something like that. But yeah, Braun is the future. I do think if this is, which I'm really hoping it is, if Roman loses at Mania and he goes off TV, Paul needs somebody. The most logical choice is Braun Breaker. He has history. He was the manager of Brock when Brock came in back in 2002. I think pairing them together would work. Now, as far as the Andre thing, you mean the Battle Royal that means nothing? Like, literally means nothing. It's made no one.
It's
no
true.
one. I don't even remember who won last year. That's right. It was Lashley, who didn't even, which, he won. Nobody.
That went well.
I mean, none of them have ever done anything. None of them.
I mean, Corbin had a good year the year that he won. But apart
as a bum, he's most remembered for being a bum, not winning that tournament. Oh yeah, and the King of the Ring crown. Those are the two.
He won the Money in the Bank briefcase the year that he won that. So, he had a good year. I know he failed to cash in, but
nobody cares.
I'm not helping the point, am I?
Nobody cares if you got the briefcase if you don't actually win with it. Let's be honest. It's like having a lunchbox without lunch in it. Like, it doesn't mean anything.
Lunch.
You're still hungry.
Yeah, I mean
just
that's
saying.
all the Money in the Bank briefcase really is, isn't it? A lunchbox. That's,
Well,
I
they
hope
sell
that's
they
the
sell
right
they sell it
idea.
as a lunchbox.
Yeah,
Matter of fact,
it's sensible. But
it wasn't
Bobby
so.
Petito.
You kept trying
says-
to get Chaos to buy it at the
He
Superstore
wants
last
it.
year.
He keeps saying he wants the Money in the Bank briefcase, and I've offered the boy multiple times to buy it for him. Hey, I know his wedding's coming up. I'll buy that, and no worries. I'm not going to cash in your wedding, Mr. Chaos. I'm just going to bring the briefcase and put it at the side at the reception.
I don't
You
think
can
that's on the
find the
registry, but that would be the funniest though. The visual of Soul running down during the wedding, saying he's cashing in.
That would be gold. We got Bobby Petito saying Braun Breaker has all the potential to be a champion on the main roster. I agree. And David Marge saying Roman better pack a lunch at WrestleMania. That's random. But on that note, guys, it's the end of the show. Thank you so much for watching. If you're on Spotify, please leave us a cheeky 5 stars. If you're on YouTube, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Thank you to Anthony. Thank you to Hollywood. So it's been a great episode. We'll be back tomorrow for a bit of a mystery episode. What are we going to talk about? I don't know, Cody Rhodes. See you guys